I will ask Doris Gagnon to come and share with us.
I'd like to begin by reading to you a passage from the Bible. How long, Yahweh, am I to cry out for help while you will not listen? To cry violence in your ear while you will not save? Why do you make me see wrongdoing? Why do you countenance oppression? Plundering and violence confront me. Contention and discord flourish. And so the law loses its grip, and justice never emerges. Since the wicked outwits the upright, and so justice comes out perverted. Habakkuk 1, verses 1 to 4. Justice did indeed come out perverted on September 9th, 2011, when a judge in Edmonton, Justice Joanne Veit, gave Katrina Efford a 3-year suspended sentence for the killing of her newborn son in 2005. Justice Veit based her decision on the fact that Canada has no abortion law. She states, and I quote, "While many Canadians undoubtedly view abortion as a less than ideal solution to unprotected sex and unwanted pregnancy, they generally understand and accept and sympathize with the onerous demands pregnancy and childbirth exact from mothers, especially mothers without support." And she added, "Naturally, Canadians are grieved by an infant's death, especially at the hands of the infant's mother, but Canadians also grieve for the mother." End quote. You can't really blame Justice Veit for thinking that Canadians are so accepting of abortion as to accept infanticide along with it. All she has to go on is the mantra of our political class and mainstream media that the debate on abortion is closed. I hope this will serve as a wake-up call for our politicians, particularly Stephen Harper. Let the debate take place. We don't really know what Canadians want, for this debate has not yet allowed to happen. Abortion is not a political football to be kicked around. To do nothing about this issue is to endorse the status quo, which is also to endorse infanticide. Equating abortion to infanticide is nothing new for abortion proponents. In 1972, before Roe v. Wade in the United States, Michael Tooley of Stanford University was already defending abortion and infanticide. In 1993, Peter Singer of Princeton University, an advocate for both abortion and infanticide, admitted that, and I quote, "The liberal search for a morally crucial dividing line between the newborn baby and the fetus has failed to yield any event or stage of development that can bear the weight of separating those with the right to life from those who lack such a right." End quote. Some feminists and pro-abortion thinkers have at least recognized the humanity of the unborn. In 1995, Naomi Wolf wrote, quote, "So what will it be? Wanted fetuses are charming, complex REM dreaming little beings whose profile on the sonogram looks just like daddy, but unwanted ones are mere uterine material? How can we charge that it is vile and repulsive for pro-lifers to brandish vile and repulsive images if the images are real?" End quote. In 2008, author Camille Paglia stated, and I quote, "I have always frankly admitted that abortion is murder, the extermination of the powerless by the powerful. Liberals, for the most part, have shrunk from facing the ethical consequences of their embrace of abortion, which results in the annihilation of concrete individuals and not just clumps of insensate tissue." End quote. This reasoning, although quite lucid because it actually looks abortion in the eye without resorting to euphemisms, is appalling for its irrationality. To advocate for the extermination of the powerless by the powerful is nothing other than what Dr. Bernard Nathanson calls the eclipse of reason. Faced with Philadelphia abortionist Kermit Gosnell's late-term abortions and infanticides, a case the media has called the House of Horrors, some, such as Francis Kissling and William Saletan, have chosen to take a step back and to question the rightness of late-term abortions. This has earned them some stern rebukes from fellow abortion proponents such as Anne Ferretti, CEO of the British Pregnancy Advisory Service, the primary abortion provider in the United Kingdom, who insists that early and late abortion carry the same moral burden because all abortions end a potential human life. End quote. I could go on quoting many other abortion proponents, but time is short. Having nothing to go on but their own rationalizations of the indefensible, abortion proponents show a lack of logical consistency, each trying to worm his or her way around the truth. But truth must correspond to reality. And the reality is that modern medicine has confronted us with the undeniable reality of human life in the womb. The pathetic attempts by the pro-abortion crowd to discredit and censor displays of intrauterine life and graphic abortion pictures are a testimony to the fact that we have truth on our side. All they have is power. But power is a very fickle God and will trample you underfoot as soon as you've served your purpose. Truth, on the other hand, endures. The culture of death is indeed about power, about the powerful sacrificing the powerless. In the case of abortion and infanticide, the sacrifice is a consummation of the ideology of sexual anarchy, which, by divorcing sex from its procreative power, leads to a kind of sexual bulimia of binging and purging. How are we to undo this? We know we have the truth on our side, but have we the virtue? This culture of death will only be overcome by self-sacrifice. Those of us who are strong and able must sacrifice ourselves for the most vulnerable. The unborn need us. They need us to be their voices, to stand in their defense, to make real and immediate their humanity to those who would exterminate them, and to the indifferent masses. The abortuaries, particularly, are where the innocent are being put to death. This is where we must go again and again, as long as the killing takes place. May we not be found wanting in virtue. What should be our attitude? Firstly, we must go as ambassadors of Christ, to extend His mercy to those enslaved in the culture of death. We must remove from our presence anything that would prevent those going to or working in the abortuary from experiencing in us the unconditional, merciful love of God for them. At the foot of the cross of Christ, Mary, John, and the others were not chatting or shouting or condemning, but were in prayer and fasting with love and compassion. Just as Jesus did not die alone, but was surrounded by prayer, may we surround the unborn with prayer, compassion, and love in their final hours on this earth. Secondly, we must be what Monsignor Philip Riley, founder of the Helpers of God's Precious Innocents, calls sidewalk contemplatives. This quiet, peaceful presence at the abortuary is a radical departure from the idolatry of movement and expediency which drive the culture of death. As sidewalk contemplatives, we sacrifice ourselves. We sacrifice our time. For what? To be still. We stop all activity in order to pray for those enslaved in the culture of death. We forego the next appointment, the phone call, the texting, and stand still in the midst of the rush of the busy city. In this stillness, we are also willing to suffer. In this stillness, the wind will whip around us, the days will become cold and bleak, and even those enslaved by the culture of death will seem to ignore us. Then will come the temptation to say to ourselves, is this the best use of my time? Am I really being ineffective? These questions might have popped into the minds of Mary, John, and Mary Magdalene as they followed Jesus up to Golgotha. Maybe they could have been more effective by going to the authorities to stop this madness. Maybe their time might have been better used in trying to gather some support to free Jesus. Mary, John, and Mary Magdalene knew better, though. Following the example of Jesus, embracing His cross, They embraced their suffering, as we must on those difficult days, praying at the abortuary, that modern-day Golgotha. To be willing to suffer is to be willing to love. And where love is, death can have no victory. The book of Habakkuk ends with, "But I shall rejoice in Yahweh, I shall exult in God my Savior. Yahweh my Lord is my strength. He will make my feet as light as a dove, and set my steps on the heights." Habakkuk 3:18-19. Mettons notre espoir en Dieu notre Sauveur et non dans les politiciens ni dans les médias. Proclamons la vérité en toutes circonstances. Incarnons ce qu'est le véritable amour, de donner sa vie pour les autres. Ce n'est que par la vertu que nous construirons une civilisation de l'amour et une culture de la vie. Our strength is in God our Savior, not in politics, not in the media. Let us proclaim the truth in season and out of season. Let us also embody the truth of what love is. Love is to lay down one's life for others. Only on such virtue can a civilization of love and a culture of life be built. Thank you.